In this video, we will have a quick review of the Windows 10 operating system and some of its basic capabilities. We will also look in our File Explorer to manage our files, and then we will finally look at some browsers and some of their capabilities. So this will be the quick, fast, and in a hurry review. So we're going to go to the Start button and select Start, which opens up our Start menu. On your suggested list are the Office applications, Access, Excel, PowerPoint, and Word. I also have them pinned in their own area on the Start menu. Now, if I wanted to take them from the suggested list and say, for instance, put it down here on my taskbar, I could do that simply by right-clicking on the application, going to the More, and selecting Pin to Taskbar. And there we have a shortcut basically to PowerPoint. And you could do each of the applications like that that you use most frequently. From here, I could give this area here its own name. I could say, here's my CIT Start menu, and I could move everything that doesn't have to do with CIT. I can move it over. So that everything that I need to use for my Start menu is over here instead of separated out. So I'm just going to put everything back. So all of these parts are movable. Customizable is the whole point to Microsoft and why they've been so successful over the years. Okay, so after you figure out what you want pinned and where, you can definitely set up everything and then begin to manipulate your files. All right, so one of the more important things is, of course, to use your File Explorer. Your File Explorer is along the taskbar, and it has a little manila folder with a blue handle. You select that, and it opens up your File Explorer window. Your File Explorer window basically gives you first your quick access, which basically shows you in all of these areas which files you have used recently, and also all of your different drives on your computer. Different drives, directory structures, folders, and so you have under this PC, 3D objects, your desktop, basically all of the files and folders that you have stored on your desktop, any files and folders that you have in your documents area, any files that you have downloaded from the web will go into your downloads area. Any music and pictures that you've used would go in their respective folders as well as videos. So the common areas of File Explorer is, of course, your desktop, documents, and downloads. So those are what we're going to focus on for this part of the video. So we're going to start in the documents area, and I'm just going to create a new folder. And so I'm going to create a folder called CIT 105. and I'm going to label it Spring 2020. And that's because I already have another folder here listed for CIT 105. So then I'm going to click on the name or the folder image, and I'm just going to drag it up and put it into the Spring 2020 folder. So now when I go and double click on Spring 2020, I have CIT 105 for Spring 2020. Now, I could create one for every class that I'm enrolled in, and that's what I would recommend for you to become one of those highly organized people. And so, for every class that you are enrolled in this semester, whether it be FYE 105, Social 101, Psychology 110, and a host of other classes, but create a folder for each individual class and store your files in their respective class folders. So to do that, you could, in this empty white space, you could right click, you could select new and then select folder. That's one way. Or you could come over here into the new area on your ribbon and select new folder. And I'm just going to type in FYE 105 to give you an idea and then hit enter. So now we have two folders in the Spring 2020 folder, for one for CIT 105, one for FYE 105. I could also create another folder for Sociology 101, right click, select new folder. So I have, and I wasn't on Spring 2020, I was actually on documents. So that's why I put it into documents. But if that happens, you can always come outside, and where it says new folder, just click once and then click again. Not double click, but just click once, take a break, and then click again, and that puts you in edit mode for that folder. So I was going to create one for Social 101, hit the enter key, and then I can click and drag that right into that folder. You see the little screen tip that says move to Spring 2020? Now it's moved to Spring 2020. So creating files. Now we want to move files into those respective folders. So one way that we can do that is, of course, to just click and let me grab this Intro to Computers Fall 2019. I'm going to take it over to Spring 2020. And I could drop it here, or I could come over here and see that Spring 2020 has subfolders in it. And it basically drops down each of the folders over here to the left and gives me the ability to drop it in the exact folder that I want it to go into. So move there, and there we have the syllabus listed in there. So that's one way that you can move files, put them into folders, or create your folders and put them into their upper level folders. Another way to save documents or files into their respective folders is, of course, to create a document from scratch. I'm just going to go into Word and do a blank document. And I'm just going to type, this is a new blank document for Social 101. And I'm going to hit the Save button. And I'll keep that as the file name. Then I'm going to click on More Save Options here. And it's going to give me the ability to go into the 2020 spring semester if I wanted to. But that wasn't where I was, right? So I'm going to go into this PC, And then on this PC, I was in spring 2020, and then I'm going to go into Social 101. So I just simply double click on each folder and subfolder, and the last one that I'm on will appear last in the path here. I could give it an appropriate name here, or I could just click Save. So now when we close Microsoft Word, when we go into the Spring 2020 folder on this PC and Social 101, that new blank document for Social 101 should be there. So again, if I wanted it to come outside of this Social 101 folder, I could simply click and drag it to the left, find the folder that I wanted it to be in, and drop. That is called a drag and drop action. So it's very important for you to know how to do. Now, when we move to the SimNet projects, you're going to download files from SimNet, and they're going to look a lot like this. Let me make it a little bit bigger so you can see the actual folder. And you see the folder has like a little zipper on it, okay? That is called a zipped or compressed folder. And what that means is there is a collection of files inside that folder that need to be extracted from that folder before they can be used. So, say for instance, if I wanted to extract the files inside this folder, I would simply click on the folder, and we see immediately on our taskbar, on our title bar, it says extract. This is called a contextual tab, and it only appears when you do certain things in either Windows Explorer or your other apps that we're going to work with this semester. So contextual tabs will come up depending upon what you click on. They're not there all the time. That's what it means. It's building a context of what you're working on. So I selected the zipped folder. I'm going to come up here to extract, and then the only button that's available for me to use, it's colorful. The rest of them are grayed out. So this is the only one that I can use. I can give it a name. And I'm just going to give it the name of My New Work. And that's going to be the name of my folder. And this little checkbox here shows extracted files when the extraction is complete. So click Extract, and we're looking for My New Work. It opened up. My New Work is here, and this is what is in My New Work. And it basically is some folders. And inside those folders, the end result is a PowerPoint. So from there, I could open the PowerPoint if I wanted to. It's not necessary for this activity, but you can see in the downloads area that My New Work does not have a zipper on it. So we know that this has been extracted. So you're going to do that for your SimNet projects. You're going to extract, you're going to download first from the SimNet website in step 1, and then you're going to extract the files in that zipped or compressed folder that comes from the website. So next, if we wanted to take a look around, maybe we created a picture and we wanted to see what that picture looked like, we could simply come on our view tab up here and select extra large icon, and it will basically show it in a large image file for us. So what I'm doing here is I'm using my mouse pad on my laptop to size or make it smaller, but the same thing would happen if I was to use medium icon, small icon, or list. If I make it bigger, do you see them changing up at the top in the layout area? As they're getting bigger, it changes. So that's good to know. Also, what's good to know is in this area, if I wanted to, let's say I was in documents and I had so many documents that I couldn't find my file, or I couldn't remember if the file went into downloads or it was in documents or where it was on my computer. I could come into Windows Explorer, and over here in the search box, I could type in the name if I knew the name of the file, but I don't have to. I just need to know what type of file it is. So I could type asterisk, that is shift and the number 8, and then I can type the file extension. So it's good to know all the file extensions for all of the applications that we're going to use for the semester. So first up, the one we're most familiar with is, of course, Word, and that is .docx. So basically, typing that into the search box, you see that all of the icons start looking alike. So I could say I want to search in documents for .docx files. Now I could also do that same search on this PC. So it searches all of the files, all of the folders, all of the directories, all of the drives. So asterisk .docx, that's going to find all of the Word documents on my entire computer. And you see the little green meter going across that's saying how much of the computer it has searched. So it'll take it a moment to actually search for all of the documents that have that file extension, and you'll see them filter in as they're found. Now another file extension for the Office Suite is for Excel, that is .xl, S as in Sam, X. So as Word was .docx, Excel is .xlsx. So we see all of these files, and they're all created using the Microsoft Word program. So I'm going to get rid of that so that you know that you can do that. And then I'm going to go into .xlsx, which is the file extension for Excel files. So then it's searching the PC for all files. I don't know the name of the files, but I'm searching for all files created with Microsoft Excel that are saved just as a regular Microsoft workbook. So it's searching through the entire PC, all of the directories, all of the folders, everything, to find files created with Microsoft Excel. And as you can see, they're filtering in. What about Access? Access file extension is .accdb for Access Database. And it's going to search through the entire computer, all of the drives, all of the folders. Whenever you hear the word folder or directory, those words are kind of synonymous. So a folder is a directory of sorts, and a drive is basically a folder that's been defined by Windows. So directory, folder, drive, pretty much the same thing. It's a basic storage location where you can store files that you create. So as it's searching, you'll see them filtering in all the Access databases that have been created or stored on this computer. You're going to, and not only this computer, but you're going to see OneDrive come up because it's my OneDrive is synchronizing with this PC, so I'm actually able to see files from my office, although I'm at home. And then finally, we're going to go to .pptx for PowerPoint files that was created and saved with the PowerPoint application or program. Whenever you hear of that word application or these words application, program, or software, it means the exact same thing. Just different words for the same thing. So as it's going through the entire PC, it's searching for all files with that file extension. It doesn't matter what the name of the file is, just long as it has that file extension. .pptx. And you will see them filter down with a very large P and an orange icon that denotes PowerPoint. So we see those filtering in, our scroll box is getting smaller. See how they all have something in common? All right. So this is one way that you can search for files. Now, if you know the name to the file, of course, if I created a file and I know I gave it the first name of CIT, then just type in CIT and it should come up on the list. And it could be anything that's created in any kind of application, whether it's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Access, Paint, anything. It just has to have CIT in the name of the file. So as it's filtering in, it's still searching for the results of CIT on the PC. And it's going to bring back all of the files and folders that are similar to that, CIT. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, this is in no way an exhaustive list of everything that you're going to need to know about Windows, but this is going to give you a start. Later we'll come and we'll actually play around with some of the other features. Now, one of the other features that I think is important is using Cortana. So if you've never used Cortana, Cortana is basically your personal assistant for Windows. So when you click on this type here to search, it's going to basically try to find things for you, but you can also activate Cortana to respond to your voice. Hey Cortana, can you open Windows settings for me? So from here, if you want to turn on Cortana, you can simply type in the Find a Setting and type in Cortana. So you can go and manage what Cortana can do, can see, or can use. You can change her language settings. Okay, so we're going to go into permissions. Going to maximize the window. Manage the information that Cortana can access from this device. So here you can turn off location, on or off, email, contacts, calendar, browsing history, any of that. Speech privacy. So if you want to use your voice for dictation and to talk to Cortana in other apps that uses Microsoft's cloud-based speech recognition, you can do that. Turn it on or off. Change what Cortana knows about me in the cloud. So there's several things you can do to limit what Cortana can do. Again, Cortana is a personal digital assistant, basically. So if you want it to, hey Cortana, can you show me all Microsoft Word documents on my computer? Maybe that was too large for Cortana. Could you show me a list of the last, let's get rid of what was said here. Hey Cortana, can you show me the last Microsoft Word I opened? So that wasn't really a good search. So let's click off. Hey Cortana, can you open the last Word document I used? So here's the last Word document that I created. And it just simply said, hello class. This is an example of saving a document into a particular folder from the start. But Cortana is very helpful in that she'll find the last file in any application that you use. You just have to know how to turn her on to function. So again, we go to the start and settings and type in the search box Cortana. Manage what Cortana can do, see and use. Change how you talk to Cortana. So you could let Cortana respond to Hey Cortana. You could even do the keyboard shortcut that would turn her on with Windows logo key and C if you wanted to. So there's all sorts of things that Cortana can actually help you with. So definitely use her. Finally, for this video, the recommended browser for this class is Google Chrome. We have found over the years that Google keeps Google Chrome up to date and basically causes the least amount of turmoil with the various apps that we use, whether it's Blackboard or SimNet or whatever. It just has the least amount of trouble. But it's not the only browser that's out there, okay? What I have found in the past, particularly with SimNet, is if you use Internet Explorer, of course, Microsoft doesn't support it anymore. So if you have it on your computer, go out of your way to uninstall it. because when Microsoft or software development companies stop supporting their own product, that means that they have no faith that it's going to work any longer. So you should not be using it as a user. They have created a new web browser called Microsoft Edge, and it's, formidable. I mean, it's changing on a daily. Um, and so I'm just going to open it up. So this is what Microsoft Edge looks like. Of course, I have it opening up directly to my MyPath that shows me all of my frequently used apps that I'm going to need to do my job. And then I also have it opening up SimNet because these are the two most frequently used places that I go. So how I could do that is, of course, come over here to my Customize and Control Google Chrome, and I could go into Settings if it will allow me. And then under Open Microsoft Edge with, on this list, I selected a specific page or pages, and I put those two web addresses there because they're the two that I use the most. Once I have those, I can get out of this area, and it's going to, every time I open up the browser, it's going to bring me to these two tabs initially. Now you can also choose a theme. I'm on the light theme now. You can choose dark if you want to. Nothing wrong with it. It's all in your preferences. If you want to show the favorites bar, you can. If you want to show the home button, let's go ahead and click that off. It's on right now. Now the home button was over here, just before your address bar. So let's turn it on again. And there is the home button. So you can go through here and just play around with some of the settings in any of these browsers, but it's pretty much the same in all of the browsers. But as I mentioned, Google Chrome is a little bit better. There are other browsers such as, let's use Cortana. Hey Cortana, can you find Mozilla Firefox? Hey Cortana, can you find Mozilla Firefox? Okay, so basically what it's doing is it's searching through the Microsoft Bing.com. It's a search engine for any information about Mozilla Firefox. And it's actually coming from a page talking about how to find a version of the application, the internet browser. So it's from computerhope.com. So you could click on that, but it's not necessary. So I'm just going to open up Google Chrome, and I'm just going to go to Mozilla Firefox free download and see what comes up. And I would always go to the one that matches up with the name. So Mozilla Firefox or mozilla.org. And that still may not be it. Let's see. Firefox free download. Okay, so that is the website, mozilla.org. So you could go to it, and it is a free browser. Okay, you could download and use. I mean, they pretty much all work very, they're very similar. So I used to use Firefox a lot, and then when Google Chrome came out, it just had so many more options, and it just was a fresh, clean look. But Firefox is still, a formidable browser that you could use. There are other browsers as well, but those are pretty much the top ones, okay? But Google Chrome It's by far the best, the one that's least problematic. Okay. So here's the customize and control Google Chrome. Go into the settings, and then you could see here if you want certain pages to open. This one's just got google.com. Okay, you could put in a new address if you wanted to. If you wanted to set up the browser as the default browser, you can do that. I have it opening up again MyPath and SimNet Online, and that's because those are the ones that I use the most, and I got tired of typing in the web addresses for them. So I just put it up on startup for it to automatically come up. So you can definitely do that as well. Now, Google Chrome also has what are called extensions. And Microsoft Edge is coming along with some of the extensions. These are just tiny programs that help you to do specific things. And so, let's say, for instance, if you wanted an app to help you keyboard, or type. Let's see. Now, I already have a lot of or I did on my old computer, and they may have changed it. Let's take a look and see. But I was using like Easy Convert, Google Docs Offline, Screencastify. I brought some of the, you know, G Suite or Google applications that I was using. And I haven't used this in a while, but you used to be able to, and this is probably the new way that they've done it, you can go into the Chrome Web Store. Yeah, this is it. So you could search in the store for, maybe you want to learn how to type. You can, put in type, and here's little programs that you can add to Chrome, and the little icon will appear next to your address bar, and you could practice your typing if you wanted to. And there are tons of other little small programs that you can use. So you just select extensions. Let's see. Let's click more extensions, and it gives you quite of a list here. And some of them are really good programs that you can kind of play around with. Some of them, of course, are games. Here's some themes that you can use. So just get in and play around with it just to know that it's there, and some of the things that are available to you. It's kind of interesting once you have a moment to kind of process all the stuff that's available and all the different apps that are compatible with your internet browser. And so things you never thought that you would need or have access to. So it's pretty neat. And then you can search them by features, what's free. Some of them are not free. They might be $1.99, they may be $4.99, $9.99, things like that, but a lot of them are free. Okay, then you can go and say, well, what apps are by Google? So you can see what Google's been creating lately. What works with Google Drive? If you have a Gmail account, you have a Google Drive account. So you can kind of take a look at all of the different stuff that, is available. So it's pretty neat stuff to take a look at. So this should give you some idea as to, how to get started with managing your computer, managing your own experience. It's all about customization. It's all about what you prefer. All right. One last thing on your Google Chrome browser, since it is the recommended one. I'm going to go into history, which you could have done Control+H, and this is provided in your syllabus as well. If you ever have any trouble with Blackboard, running anything on Blackboard or anything on SimNet, your first line of defense is to clear your browsing data. So on the screen here, this shows every website you've went to, everything you've launched, and you just click on Clear Browsing Data. A little pop-up window will appear that says Clear Browsing Data, and it wants to know how far back do you want to go. So just select All Time, and then make sure all three of these are selected here. There's really no need to go in here, but you can definitely go in there and just meddle. Basically, every website that you go to visit, if the website has images, basically what your internet browser is doing is taking a picture or a snapshot of that website. So every time that you need to go back to that website, it's not necessarily getting the latest version of the website. It's pulling from what it remembered the last time you were using it. So that kind of saves the computer time in, taking you to that website. So you can actually, clear the data, and what that will do is anything that you're logged into, it will log you out because it doesn't remember you anymore. But the benefit of that is it gives you a clean slate to work with. So if you're having trouble with VoiceThread on Blackboard or SimNet or, just anything, clear your browsing data and see if that helps. Like that is your first line of defense with your browser because it can correct some things. All right. So Control+H, clear browsing data, clear data, and that will basically wipe out your cache, your history of your browser, and give you a fresh start. Sometimes that's needed. No one's ever told us why, especially when it relates to Blackboard or SimNet. SimNet was constructed in HTML5. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is the standard language of the web. And so when there were programs like Adobe Flash, of course you can understand that because Adobe Flash had some extra processing to do for web pages that were made from that particular program. So clearing your data made sense because it was all sort of images and, processes. But with HTML5, it's just code. And so, but somehow, some way, clearing your browser history fixes a lot of things. So it's good to know that you have that capability before you call any tech support or call your instructor. You have the ability to wipe Google Chrome, the browser history, and see if that fixes anything. So you would log back in to Blackboard and SimNet and see if the same problem persists. So hopefully this helps you in some way to have an idea of what is expected, and it hopefully will give you a start to getting acclimated with your computer and how to use it appropriately, especially for this class.